It's October and you've spent all summer looking at sleds and now it's time to buy. And today I'm going to help you out a little bit. If you like SkiDoo, Polaris, Cat, Yamaha, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you where I think the real value is in a used snowmobile going into the 2025 ride season. Before I get into my picks, a couple of general things before we get started here. First off, you don't need a turbo, especially for the picks that I have for you. If it's not a factory turbo, you're kind of asking for problems, especially since this is supposed to be your first mountain sled. I'm also not going to be sticking you on Uncle Steve's old Mountain Cat 900. This is like the money that I think you should spend on a sled to give yourself a decent chance at enjoying the sport and without putting your whole future on mortgage too. Every sled on this list is a totally capable mountain sled that'll take you everywhere you need to go as a new rider or somebody who's looking at getting into it. I really do recommend pretty much a stocker sled, like some exhaust, some accessories. That's not going to kill it, but I really don't recommend you pick up that sled just because it has the aftermarket turbo on it and is running 300 horsepower. I worked as a sled mechanic for almost a decade. I worked at Articat, but we were a dealer that was open to servicing all makes and models. So I'm pretty familiar with all their properties and their problems because I worked on all of them. I'm not going to be covering the little things where I think that a little bit of ice buildup is annoying or something like that. These are some questions I get asked about quite a bit, what I should buy. So I've picked some sleds for the newbie, young or old. This is where I think the value is in a used sled for the 24-25 drive season. Let's start with the Polaris. If you're looking at a Polaris, I'd look at a 2016 to 2018 RMK. That way you get the Axys chassis. Previously, Polaris had a lot of issues with their earlier 800 motors, and a lot of them required a fix kit. By 2016, they had pretty much everything wrapped up tight in that 800, even though there are still fix kits available for it. Most options come with a belt drive, which is great. It's a light chassis and probably the most maneuverable of all my picks on this list, and I just think they look good. Yeah, I think an Axys looks better than a Matrix. There's lots of track options available at this time, depending on what kind of riding, what kind of mountain riding you plan on doing. Most of everything was powder coated by this time too, which was a big deal for shedding snow and ice off the chassis. Some of the drawbacks of this sled, if you're a bigger guy and you use stalker shocks, they might not be enough for you. Sean has blown these out multiple times and he's had to upgrade it to keep it from happening. Yeah. We've been here before. In my opinion, that 800 engine that they use is a little bit underpowered, but it does take you everywhere you want to go. Next, if you're looking for SkiDoo, this is what I think. I'd look for an 18 Plus Summit 850. You get that Rev Gen 4 platform that way, and you stay away from the older 800 engine, which I'm actually not really a fan of. Even though the 850 was available in 2017, there was some durability and improvements made to the 2018 850 Rotax. So I think it's worth it holding out for that 18 if you can find one. It's on a G4 chassis. It's only one chassis behind the modern ride, whether it's the Summit or it's a Freeride. It's all the same stuff with a little bit of different features. And the shot starting system is awesome. Some of the drawbacks, chain cases were one of the things that people tended to worry about on these things. They do blow apart sometimes, and we've had to do a recovery of our own a few years back.
Been up here for a little over a week now.
Well, you know nobody's going to take it, right?
There's the old chain.
Not too bad. Craig, I can ride her for the rest of the day, man.
I think it's worth buying over a Summit that's a little bit older because you stay away from that, in my opinion, clunky XM chassis. So for SkiDoo, I'm recommending something fairly new. Articat. You guys who want an Articat out there, here's what you can get into an Articat without breaking the bank for. The real value for the Cats is in the 2016 and 2017 M8000 models. It's the last 2 years they had the Proclimb body, so they had it really dialed in. Of the 2 years, if you can find a 2017 Mountain Cat specifically, that is the one to get. It had the drop chain cases and the narrowed boards too. The best part of this sled is the engine. I firmly believe that this is the best engine that has been put in a sled of all time. This is the Suzuki 800 engine. They're not finicky engines. They can handle a little bit of moisture in the intake, and they absolutely love to be revved high. In addition to that, this is paired with the iteration of the team clutches that were not a problem. These were the non-exploding team clutches. In fact, Ben on his 2016 M8 changed the belt at 3,000 kilometers just because. 2016, they also upgraded the front end to a narrower ride. Some disadvantages of this unit is it's now going to be 2 iterations old with the release this year of the Cat 858. And of course, that's on the Catalyst chassis. And the 600 was available last year. I rode one. Because it's 2 generations old, it's got the bulkier profile and it's also the heaviest of the 3 that I've covered so far. The ride is super dependable, but this machine has a few features that are starting to feel a little dated now. If you're looking for a Yamaha, here's the deal and here's why. 2025 is going to be the last production run for Yamaha snowmobiles. In the mid-2000s, Yamaha dropped their entire lineup of 2-stroke snowmobiles and doubled down everything into their 4-stroke technology. This is around the time that 2-stroke technology was also becoming cleaner and a lot more dependable. Yamaha stuck to their guns with the 4-stroke mountain sled, which worked really good for a while. People modded them, people loved them, but 2-stroke technology overtook it really quick. The golden era of the 4-stroke mountain sled was short-lived, and it led to a strange partnership with Arctic Cat that lasted about a decade. Yamaha later on released an updated Mountain Max, which was essentially, for all intents and purposes, Arctic Cat Alpha 1.
And we got an Alpha Skid, and I'm a Polaris guy.
It's not bad.
So we never really got to truly see what a great Yamaha 2-stroke mountain sled would look like with their own engine and their own chassis, even though it's speculated Yamaha had a lot to do with the development of Arctic Cat's C-Tech engine. I don't really recommend you look for a Yamaha, but if you must, look for a 2018 Sidewynder. You'll probably pay a premium on it because Yamaha's prices out the door with the 4-stroke factory turbo were a lot more than the competing 2-strokes at that time. You get some nice stuff with it. You get Yamaha's gauge, you get their iteration of their clutches. They put out well, they have torque at all ranges, but they're very heavy. I love the Yamaha, but unless you plan on doing mostly open alpine riding, or building a hill climber, I don't really recommend you get one. In the trees, you'll hate your life, and your friends will hate you too. So if you're looking for a sled this year to get into mountain riding, hopefully that helps you out a little bit without getting into way too much detail and way into the weeds about this. Sledding is expensive, the safety gear, the cost of operation. The price of sleds is absolutely crazy right now, but it seems to be kind of moving in the right direction, the used market anyway. These sleds are great picks if you're looking for something to break into the mountain market without breaking the bank. All right, that wraps up things here. Quick updates. I had a different video planned, but it's raining. But it's pretty much time to get everything out of storage and back to the shop and ready here for the season. Ben has something brewing. My latest text from him involves a recommended engine rebuild. Sean has something cool to show us. We'll have to go have a walk around soon. We've got a big year planned. Stay tuned. We've already been chatting about a mission statement for the year. And the snow just sucked last year. And we're going to make it all up. We're going to make it. Stay tuned. See you guys in the next video.